Hey guys, welcome back to our Python for Data Engineering series. In the last session, we built really good understanding on how and why everything is object in Python. In today's session, we are going to understand two important object types which are mutable and immutable. In last session, we already understood about object in a great detail. So if you have not watched that video, please go back and watch it first. So let's start with understanding immutable object first. Now, what are immutable objects? These are objects whose values cannot be changed after creation. What does this mean? Let me explain you practically. Now, guys, string, integers are immutable objects. Tuples are also immutable. Now let's say I am creating string object. So X is holding object of string class. Now in last session we have understood that for every object we'll have three things. First is ID, which is a unique address for each object. Then second thing is a type, which is a type of that object. So type is the class to which object belongs. And third is value of that object. Let me execute this code. If you see, this is the ID of my object. Okay, I told you string is immutable, so we cannot change its value after creation. But I can do x equal to Ganesh. Now you will say you have just said that we cannot change the value after creation for string because it is a immutable, but we have changed its value. No guys, we did not change. With this statement we have created new object. Okay, so how? Let's prove that. If we see the ID of X now, it will be a different because it is a new object. Okay, let me execute this. Now if you see, this ID is different when we created the object Akshay. So these are two different objects. I hope you getting it. If not, let me show you how it looks in Python memory. Okay, so first we had X equal to Akshay. Now what will happen, or how it will be stored in Python memory? Let's say this is a Python memory and it has a multiple blocks. Okay, this is one block of memory and there is one more block. Similarly, there will be multiple blocks. Okay, and we have X here. Now X is a just variable which is pointing to this value in Python memory. So this is the object and X is just pointing to that object, and this object will have its unique memory location, which is this. Okay, now after this, what we did, we changed X equal to Ganesh. Now this has not modified our existing object, it has created new object in Python memory which is with different memory location. Since the memory location is different, it's new object. Okay, and now your X is pointing to this value. Okay, now remember guys, X is just a variable pointing to the object created in Python memory. Okay, so object is not changed. Now you will say, is this some limitation in Python that we cannot modify the values after creation for immutable object? No guys, this is a really powerful feature of the Python, and let's see how this helps in Python. First, safety and predictability. There are some scenarios in code where we don't want to modify some values. Now suppose I am getting age as an input. I am performing some operation based on this age. Now I don't want to modify this age value even by mistake also. So let's see. Even if we try to modify it, it will not be modified. Let me show you. Let's store age here and let me write one function. Okay, change which tries to modify this age. Okay, so it will simply increase age by 1, and now I will call this function and I will pass this age value and I'll print age. Now Guys, pause the video for a minute and think whether the value of the age will be changed. Age holding object of integer type, and integers are immutable objects. So this value will not be changed. Let's prove this by executing this code. If you see, the value of the age remains same. It has not changed. Immutable objects prevents from accidental modification, and this is a really powerful feature when we want to store such values which should not be modified. The second feature which immutable object provides is dictionary and set keys. Okay, now guys, whenever you create any dictionary, suppose let me create one dictionary, it will have two things, keys and values. So my key is apple and it holding value, it is first apple, for example. Okay, I don't want to modify this key ever in a dictionary. Why? Because these keys are converted into hash value. So this apple will be converted in some hash value. Okay, why it is converted into hash value? Now if I am trying to searching for this apple in future, when I search for this as apple, Python internally convert it into its hash value, and based on this hash value it can quickly check in Python memory where this apple key exists. So basically this hashing helps in quick searches. Okay, when we are storing this apple as a hash key into a hash value, if we change this key, okay, suppose apple I change to something different, mango. Okay, but this hash key refers to the apple, so your entire dictionary behavior will break. Okay, so Python should guarantee that whenever any keys are created, it should not be modified. That guarantee is provided through immutable nature of objects in Python. Now, the third and important thing, memory optimization in Python. Let's say I'm trying to create two integer objects. Okay, A is holding 10 and B is also holding 10. Both are holding like objects with the same value. Now I'll show you something interesting. If I print A is B, see, it's true. So Python did not create two objects separately because they have same value. So your both A and B are pointing to the same memory location. Okay, so in your memory somewhere, if I can copy paste that, yeah, somewhere in your memory 10 will be created and both your A and B will point to the same memory location. Okay, in this way immutable objects helps in memory optimization. As of now we understood that Python uses immutable objects for safety from accidental changes, hashing for keys of dictionary and set, and memory optimization. And int, strings, tuple, these objects are immutable in Python. Okay, now let's understand mutable objects. Now it's simple, right? Objects whose values can be changed after creation. Okay, so list, dictionaries, and set are mutable objects in Python. Let me show you with the example. Let me create a simple list. Okay, L underscore 1, which is holding a value Akshay. Okay, now we know this object will have its own ID. Okay, so let me print its ID. Okay, sorry, L1. Fine. Now let me try to append one more element into this list, maybe a Ganesh. Okay, then I will print this list once again and I will print its ID once again. Okay, so let me save this and run this. See, initially your L1 list was stored at this memory location. Okay, now later we appended one more element to that list. Now this has not created new list, it has added that element into existing list only. If you see, the ID of L1 remains same after appending new elements as well. So same object, the initial object which was created has been modified. So that's why lists are mutable. Similarly, dictionaries and sets are also mutable. Let's see how this looks in Python memory. Okay, so once again, this is my Python memory. These are blocks in Python memory. Okay, now initially I created list L underscore 1 which has element Akshay. List will be stored in square bracket. Okay. It means I have a variable L1, L underscore 1, which is pointing to the list object which is stored at some memory location, Python memory. Then later, when I tried to add new element, it has modified this object in place and added new element. That's what are mutable objects. Now you will say there are so many benefits of immutable objects. They are safe, used as keys in dictionaries and set, also helps in efficient use of memory. Then why we need mutable objects? So guys, there are real world scenarios where we need objects to be modified as we run through the program. Let me show you one real world example. Let's consider a cart of any e-commerce app you are using, maybe Amazon. Initially, your cart will be empty. Okay. As you go and shop new things, you will keep adding new elements to your cart. Okay. Maybe a pen, then you buy something else, mobile. Okay. So for such scenarios, you should have objects which can be modified. Okay. So I hope you guys now understood what exactly mutable and immutable objects and why both of them are needed in Python. Immutable objects, your immutable objects provide safety from accidental modification, right? Because it cannot be changed after creation. Then it can be used as keys in dictionaries and set, because Python guarantees that it can be used as keys in dictionaries and set because it cannot be modified. Then it also helps in memory optimization. Okay. Whereas your mutable objects provide the flexibility, right? So if you have a scenario where you need to modify some objects throughout the code, then mutable objects will help you. So going forward, you will have a clarity which kind of object you want to use. If you want the value to be modified during the code, like shopping cart we see, you will use a mutable objects. And if you want to preserve some value throughout the code, you will use immutable object like string integers. So guys, by the end of this session, we have covered all internals of the Python, and this is really going to help you in your future Python journey. Just to recap what we have covered. In session 1 of internals of the Python, we understood how Python code executes internally. Okay, there we understood when we write a code, bytecode compilers comes into picture. It converts your code into bytecode. Then your Python virtual machine understand these bytecode instructions and execute those bytecode instructions to produce the output. Okay, in session 2 we understood about what are classes and objects and how and why everything is object in Python, right? In today's session we understood what are mutable and immutable objects in Python. So guys, now if I write code name equal to Akshay, you know a name is a variable which is pointing to the memory location in Python memory where object Akshay is created of string type, right? And when I execute this code, first your code is converted into a bytecode instructions, and these bytecode instructions are executed by your Python virtual machine to produce the output. This changes the whole Python game, guys. See now, if you're writing any code, you are able to build illusion about what exactly Python is doing internally. This is really important, and if you still have not watched our previous sessions on internals of the Python, please guys go and watch those sessions. That's all for today's session. With this, we have finished the internals of the Python. In upcoming session, I will cover all required fundamentals of the Python so we can quickly get started with the Python data engineering projects. Thank you guys. And once again, before we stop for today, please watch all the videos on internals of the Python. That's really going to help you in our future journey. Thank you.